I study success and failure pretty much equally, actually. I'm a huge fan of studying failure. So why do you want to study both success and failure? It's kind of fascinating. Well, the reason why you study success, that's usually the first thing that you want to study, right? Because when you're coming from somewhere down low, you probably had enough study of failure at that point. Your parents, your friends, your peers, everyone in your community, probably failure. You know, so like you don't really need like, let's study failure. You know, you say you're 22 and you're coming from like, you know, as they would call it in the Game of Thrones, you are lowborn. Anybody here watch the Game of Thrones? You're a lowborn plebeian, right? So the last thing that like I wanted to do growing up was like, let's study failure more, right? I know what like a man who grows up into a career that he doesn't like and has inner demons and then decides to beat his child looks like. I get that one, okay? So, you know, I've been exposed to enough of that. I know what like a weed dealer looks like who goes to jail. I know what all that looks like. That's what I grew up around, okay? I know what domestic abuse, anger, what Eckhart Tolle would call a pain body, mediocrity, people not living their dreams, people angry, people sitting around smoking weed and drinking all day, not like as a party or for fun, but because they're trying to drown out their inner voices telling them to succeed because they hate life and all that kind of shit. I get all that. I have many decades of like seeing that shit, and that could have been me. So that's totally fine. So first you want to study success, because when you study success, you're seeing examples of people who are like you who rose up. So you say, oh, cool, like maybe I could do that. And then what's kind of cool about studying success, and I emphasize this a lot actually, I talk about this almost all the time because this was like a big breakthrough for me, and I really, really emphasize this, but most people who are lowborn, as they call in Game of Thrones, they think that the people at the top want them to be down low. They're completely convinced of this. They're like, the business is doing this because they don't really want anyone to be healed, or they don't want anybody to learn, or the government doesn't want people to start their own businesses because then they couldn't be controlled, and like shit like this. And this is like a very common thing in the unthinking masses, that they think that like the higher up people are trying to like control them proactively, like proactively manipulate and control them. And yes, there is a degree of that going on. I get that. But I can tell you, like, since I became quote-unquote successful, I've had the opportunity to hang out with a lot of successful people. I've met, frankly, in Los Angeles, the majority of the fucking successful people there probably at this point, just through different business networks I've been involved in. Probably not the majority of successful people, but you know what I'm saying? Like, shit tons of business owners and all that type of stuff. Most of them feel very, very bad about poverty. And I emphasize this all the time, most of them, if you told them, you can alleviate poverty even 2% in the city if you just gave away everything you owned, would say yes. But why is it that most business owners would do that? Why do you think? There's a reason that the low down people don't understand. Why is the reason? Because they know how to do it again. That's like me if you said, you've got a girl with you. Would you give up the girl who you're going to take home tonight so that all you guys could get laid tonight? Why would I say yes? Why would I say no? Fuck all of you. Okay? Why would I? Okay? Why would I say? Why theoretically would I say yes to that? Because I know the 6 steps to pick up, and I'd say here you go, and then all you guys would get laid, and then whatever was left, I would just fucking go, and then I would just do my little thing again of the same way that I got the first one, and I would do it again. So, but see, people who are low down, they don't understand, like they don't, I mean, massive sweeping generalization here, but it can be common that they don't understand that success is replicable and achievable. So they think that success is either through luck, connections, or cheating the system. So it's like, how many heads did you step on to get to the top? And and typically also people that are low down fail to understand what passion is. That's another really big thing. Like they see somebody who's like they look at like say like someone like Kobe Bryant, and they're like, why the fuck does like Kobe just keep working on his basketball skills after all this time? It's like, how many more hundreds of millions of dollars does Kobe Bryant need, right? It's like, he's just another selfish prick that needs another 100 mil to lord it over me and make me feel bad. It's like, no, dude, Kobe's doing that because he thinks it's amazing. He's playing basketball because no amount of money can beat the flow state that he's going to have when he's fucking dunking on Kevin Garnett and like flies over this fucking monster Garnett and actually succeeds. When maybe Garnett's going to do it back to him too. But you know what I'm saying? Nothing can beat that. Nothing can beat the flow state. Like, could you guys imagine being in my position right now? Like have crowds of people coming out to see you and hear you talk? Do you know how amazing this is? It's like the craziest fucking shit. There's no amount of money that can pay for this. You know what I'm saying? There's not a single thing that I can buy that would give me this is my satisfaction is being able to do what I'm doing right now. But again, people low down, they can't understand that because they don't know what passion is, and then they don't know what passion is. So if they see somebody working hard, it's like, he's just trying to step on heads. He's trying to step on my head, and that's the reality that they're in. And you can study this, and I'd recommend you study it. You can read books like Tribal Leadership or Spiral Dynamics, and I have a lot of my own ideas about different paradigms I'm going to put out soon. But if you look at one like, say, Tribal Leadership, he'll talk about 5 stages of a tribe. And try to follow me here. It's pretty powerful shit. So I don't remember this exactly. This is paraphrased. I might get it wrong. But the gist of it was like the lowest level tribe would have the beliefs of, he calls it level 1, has the belief of my life sucks and the whole world sucks. So I think the example he used in his book is like gang culture. So it's like the world fucking sucks. I'm just going to be in this fucking gang. People fucking suck. The world sucks. Everything fucking sucks. Then you have things like, say, a level 2 level tribe where it's like, the world is cool and there's these lucky people that have it good, but my life sucks. So that would be someone who, say, works at like the DMV, where they're just like, yes, there's a lot of like people who have great lives that come in here, but my life fucking sucks. I work at the fucking DMV. How may I help you? And suck my dick. It's like, you know, that's kind of like level 2. So you see that in the pickup community, where you can even see groups of people like that kind of tribe, where it's like they believe, yeah, it's like there's some people in pickup community that believe nobody gets laid. Like they literally just like, they look at a video of mine like, that can't happen. Like that must be an actress, because nobody can be getting laid. Like there's nobody on the earth that can be getting laid, because I'm not getting laid, so therefore nobody on the earth can be fucking getting laid, right? Like thinking that sex is like the most impossible thing, it could just never happen. So that's, you know, they can't believe what they're seeing. But then there's people that are like, no, I can believe that some people are getting laid, but it's the very tall, good-looking ones only. And if you are not 6'4" with a chisel-cut jaw, no girl will have sex with you. And I've even seen like to the point where people are like, even the ugly girls these days just wait around for the 6'4" guy with the chiseled jaw. So nobody is having sex except for them. And like literally, like they literally can't believe that, like, unless you have a chiseled jaw and like 6'4" and jack, no girl is having sex with you, because even the ugly girls just wait for that guy. And they have that belief. It's like, my life sucks. I admitted that there's people getting laid, but it's not me or anybody like me. So again, my existence is offensive, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, look, here's another video of me getting laid. It's like, yeah, you know, right? And it's like, here's another video, you know, right? And it makes them furious, because it's like taking this pie and just putting it in their face, like, that's right, I am lording over you. While you sat at home going, I felt it too. I'm the low-born guy too. But, you know, I was like, and I was like, maybe I'll just give it a shot, you know? And I went out and gave it a shot, and I was like, I didn't get laid, but I saw some attraction, and I didn't think that was possible. No, and I'm like, no, let me try it again, you know, like, because I had to pull, I relate to that mindset, because I had to pull myself out of it. So then I just kept doing it, I started getting success, and then I realized, oh, cool. Well, let's look at level 3 tribe. That's called I'm awesome, but everybody else sucks. So have you guys ever seen, like, in a business where maybe you felt this way, or people you know felt this way, where they're like, yeah, my fucking whole team sucks, and I'm the only good one in it? You guys ever seen that? You'll see that sometimes in pickup groups. For example, you guys are going to start a free group out here. One thing I'd recommend to you is don't get in this frame of, I'm awesome and my group sucks. Don't do that, because that means you're stuck in level 3. Basically, it's like you think that you're the lone person who's good. So you see that in some pickup companies where there's one guy in the company that thinks he's carrying the whole load. You guys might notice, like in RSD, I'm always pumping up everybody else. I'm always trying to put the shine on everybody else. I'm like, look at these guys, look at these guys. The team is a shit. And that's actually level 4. It's like we are the shit. We're the shit. So say that in RSD, I was like, RSD's a shit, but every other fucking pickup company in the world sucks, but we're the shit. That's like level 4. That's still pretty good. That's still pretty good. But what's even above that? Well, what he says in Tribal Leadership, he says it's like we are the shit and the world is the shit. So in other words, we're the shit, and if there's some other company out there, they're probably the shit too. We don't even care what they're doing. It's like we're not even looking at what they're doing. We're probably not even aware of what they're doing. You might check it out, and but you're not really focused on it. And instead, what are you focused on? What's possible. So that's what it comes down to. And what he says in that book is that's where like the most amazing inventions get created, or that's where like a basketball team wins multiple championships. For example, what was that Bulls team that was like, a lot of people thought was like the best Chicago Bulls team ever? 96. Yeah, it's like it was 1996 Bulls. They won like 72 games or something like that. Yeah. Something crazy like that, right? And it's not like, and like they're not playing like, if you remember the first season that LeBron James went to the Heat, he's playing for anger. Like, fuck the media, I'm going to prove him wrong. And he couldn't win, right? But then when he just started to find the joy in the game itself, that's when he did well. Well, that's like a lot of guys in pickup, right? Like when you're trying to pick up girls to prove something, you're not going to do as well. But when you find joy in picking up girls, that's where you're going to kill it. So like from a business perspective, I always just want to be in a mode of like what's possible, like literally just what's possible. So every time I create a new video, I'm trying to like, you know, if I have time, I mean, my time can be limited. I can't always make them better, but I'm usually saying, how could I make this better? How could I make my next speech more interesting? How could I make it more crazy? How could I get deeper concepts? How could I evolve the content? With my hidden camera filming, I'm always like, how could I film it even crazier? Like you guys might have seen, if you've been to my past events, videos of me pulling girls all the way back to the apartment. First time I ever did that, like, you know, I'm like about to like pull this girl back in the apartment. I'm like, maybe we could film up the elevator. Interesting, right? And I'm like, oh God, that'll be so horrible. I'm like, we're doing it. You know, right? And I'm just like, come on in. And my cameraman's like, you know, like that, right? I'm like, come on, right? And I was like, Aaron, his name was Aaron. I was like, get in here. So he like came in, it's like super awkward, and I'm like sitting there in the elevator, this girl trying to kind of like block the cameraman like a little bit, right, as we're like going upstairs, and I was like shitting my pants. But then as soon as we did that once, we realized you can, as long as you're not supposed to go in the apartment, you can't like go in the apartment. That's bad. But you can just do like the apartment like lobby area and stuff. So we started doing that, right? And we just built on it and built on it. Things like threesomes, you were talking about that before. Again, it's like the world, like I'm awesome, we're awesome, the world is awesome. So many of you guys are so stuck in like scarcity. If you actually get an attractive girl into you, the last thing that you're thinking is maybe she'll want to hook up with her friend too. You're not thinking that. You're just, how can I get her? How can I get her? Why not have sex with her and then say, her, I'm going to call her a plaything for you. And then call one of the other girls that you're sleeping with over, say same thing to her, and then you can introduce them to each other and never know what could happen. And believe me, you will think the world's an amazing place when that happens. So that's like, you know, that's the shit. So it's like, it's like what's possible. I remember Jeff at one point, I mean, to me this is bizarre, but he was like, you know, he thought like you could only be dating like 5 girls at a time. He actually started dating, I think it was 50 girls at the same time. It's kind of crazy, but he was, like that's what he was doing, right? So I mean, I don't think he was like, you know, seeing them super regularly, but there was about 50 different girls, like, you know, probably in the Excel spreadsheet or something, and you know, and he was. Is that funny? I don't know. I mean, that's what he was doing, I think. So, and basically what it was like he had them like scheduled in, and he would like figure out ways to see all of them and like schedule them in and shit like that, and. It's just like, why not? You know, so that's like, it's like, I'm awesome, we're awesome, the world is awesome. So that's like the whole idea to me of like studying success. And a really big thing that I did as well with studying success, and I really want to emphasize this, was a couple things actually. One was realizing that successful people want you to be successful. Successful people don't like walking down the street and seeing people that are pissed off. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you go to a third world country, and I took special note to do this, when you go to a third world country and you see like poor people that are like looking really mad, you don't want them to be like that. You want them to be like you and to succeed. So most successful people realize towards the end of their career, especially once they're established, will just give away the fucking store. They will give you everything. Like they will show you whatever they know. I think RSD is like that. Like people are always like, are you really holding back the thing that really works? Dude, do I appear at this point, if you follow myself, like I'm holding something back? Like, yes, I'm holding something back. No, it's like, I want to give it away. I can't do like, you know, I can't give everything like say my whole hot seat event or a boot camp, but I give as much as I can because I love it. Likewise, so the point of that is that you can study success from that. Like you can look at most people that you see who are really successful, you can read their books. And they're going to talk about their challenges, what they went through. Some of them will try to make their book favorable just to sell their product more. That's absolutely true. But many of them will be viciously honest with the struggles that they've been through, what they've had to learn, and you can learn from that. Particularly if you're pushing yourself, your selective focus, they call that RAS, Reticular Activation System, your selective focus will be so clued into what they're talking about, it's almost like Neo in the Matrix. You're just taking those lessons, plugging in the back of your head, and getting the fucking lessons. So that's why I'm always reading. I'm always looking at successful people. So that was a huge, huge thing that I did. Another thing that I did, and this is very, very critical, I believe, that really, really helped me, and you guys are all actually doing it right now, so good for you, was dissipating what I call 150 icon consciousness in my head. And that's kind of like a term that I coined. I call that 150 person icon consciousness. Now try to follow me here. This is a really powerful concept. You probably never heard this before. So different evolutionary theorists speculate about this, but basically what they say is that human beings were probably adjusted to being in a tribe of around 150 people. I don't know if that's really 300 or if it's 50 or whatever it is. Let's call it 150 just to make it simple. So people are adjusted to being in a tribe of about 150 people. What often happens is that after around 150 people, you start to forget the names, you forget the essential facts, you kind of can't keep track of more of it, you start to forget. So that's sort of how our brains are adjusted. Now, what happens in mainstream consciousness is that celebrities actually get put into our brains as like a part of our tribe. So we start to believe in the collective consciousness that you have like, you know, like think of it like as if you're living in a village where you had like the local chef, the local blacksmith, the local dog keeper, the local mayor, like, you know, like all these different characters, right? But in our mainstream 150 icon collective consciousness, we think that like the town chef is like Wolfgang Puck. Like, who's the chef? Wolfgang Puck. You know, like, doesn't matter, he doesn't live in your city, you think that. Like, who is the dog guy? It's Caesar Milan. Like, who takes care of dogs? Caesar. You know, right? Caesar's up the street, right? And, you know, it's like, you know, who's the basketball player? Like, back in the day, like, Kobe. Who's announced? Like, LeBron. LeBron's the basketball guy. Who's the pickup guy? Maybe me, or, you know, Mystery or something like that. Show. That's like the pickup guy. So it's funny, like, say that I were to go onto a TV show as the pickup guy. It's almost like when they're interviewing me, a mainstream show at that level of consciousness probably wouldn't be interviewing me to see like what I know and to try to get like all this knowledge that I spent over a decade accumulating. They don't care about that. Basically, the interview is like a shit test to see if I get to become the pickup guy. That's pretty much what it is. So it's like, so Owen, you can just get any girl and sleep with her, right? And I'm like, no. You know, and they're like, but you're the pickup guy. You know, it's like, no, I can't. Well, at least every night you go out, you could get laid, right? At least somebody would sleep with you. What's like your average? Like, is it like 80%? Like 80% of women you approach you could have sex with? After all, you're the pickup guy. It's like, no, it's not close to 80%, right? And what's funny is like different pickup teachers are trying to establish themselves as the pickup guy because they figure it's good for business. So they're like, oh yeah, it's like 80%. These are guys that probably don't even go out. And they'll just say that because they look at me and they're like, if you're just like, what's Owen's like success rate from open to close? They're like, I don't know, like 90% or something. I'll just say 80 because that would sound realistic. No, that's not realistic. That's not realistic at all. But again, they're gonna think like that, right? Reality is, but again, I can't explain this on a TV show, is that when I go out, I'm talking to everybody. So what even is an approach at that point? What even counts as an approach? But see, again, somebody in lower consciousness, they're not imagining just a night of pure fun and joy, awesomeness, and socializing. They can't imagine that because they've never done that maybe. So the way they imagine it is like, there's the girl, let's do this, you know, right? And it's like, hey, right? And then if it went bad, they're like, pickup artist batting average just went down by another couple percent. Okay, let's deal with this shit, you know, right? And their ego just got broken apart, you know? Whereas for me, it's about the process, it's about the joy. It's about being the kind of guy who can get laid when you want to, not the kind of guy that can just walk up to any girl and manipulate her. But again, you'd never see a movie about that. If they were gonna make a movie about pickup teachers, what would it be like? Maybe like there's this one guy, and he wants this one girl, and he's just a little fat, mediocre little fat man, and he wants the beautiful girl. And without having to go to the gym, without having to become a man, without having to find his masculinity, without having to develop his humor, just staying the same little mediocre piece of shit that he is. He calls in Will fucking Smith. And Will Smith comes in and he's gonna show you how to get it done. And you don't have to change, just sit there, little fat man. You don't change at all. Will Smith's gonna whisper in your ear. And then at the end, he's gonna get the girl. Because what's the end of any mainstream consciousness movie with a little mediocre man that could never get a girl like that? He gets the fucking girl. And what's the message of the movie? That's right, little mediocre man. There is glory in your existence. You're not seeing it now with the shitty little existence you have, but keep watching this movie, keep being mediocre, and you're gonna get the weird representation of Paris Hilton from Hitch. That'll be you, okay? Okay? Just sit on the fucking hamster wheel. Don't be curious what is beyond the hamster wheel. Paris Hilton is coming. Okay. You know, that's mainstream level consciousness, right? It's like the restaurant Hooters, right? You're like there's a fat mediocre man, and then you go to Hooters and like fucking hot ass bitches with tits come up to you, and they're like, hey, Welcome to Hooters. Want some wings and beer? Right, the shit that makes you, it just pumps you with more estrogen and fat and like ill health, cancer. And you're like, fuck yeah, Hooters, right? And it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, there's Hooters there, there's titties. 19-year-old girls with titties. We're fucking 45 and gross. We could never get a girl like that. But of course the reality is, can a 45-year-old man score 19-year-old girls? Fuck yes he can. That's probably the most likely time that he can, because he's in his prime. But most guys will never even see their prime because they think this is the fucking reality of the world. They will never see their prime. They don't even know what a prime is. They think a man's prime is like 23. Do you know what a 23-year-old man looks like to a proper older guy who's in his prime? It looks like like just some dumb little kid. Like looks like a Bobo doll that you would kick up the street. Like a 23-year-old kid? What is a 23-year-old child? It's like, to somebody who's like 38 or 43, who has a lifetime of conquering goals, hustle, living on the edge, taking risks, pushing himself, like a 23-year-old kid, that's the guy that fucks all the young hot girls? A 23-year-old kid is what a guy who's 42 thinks what gets young girls. What? Ah! Wake me up from this! Okay, so no, that is not who is in their prime, okay? When I live in Los Angeles, I know plenty of guys that are in their prime, and the girls that these guys are dating, you would not believe it. But you know what's funny? They'll never admit it. Do you know what these guys will tell you? Here's what they'll do. You'll see a 43-year-old guy who's dating a bunch of 22, 23-year-olds, probably some older girls too, just whatever he wants to date. And then they'll be like, so are you ever gonna get a real relationship and settle down, right? That guy's not gonna be like, look, you're ridiculous. The fact that you think that that's real is pathetic. You hate your fucking, you hate your husband. You two hate each other. You two don't have sex with each other. So don't judge me for being in my prime and enjoying life. You two don't sleep with each other. Shut up. He's not going to say that. You know why? Because there's too many of them. There's too many people like that. So he doesn't want to incite the mob. So instead what he's going to say is he's going to say, no, I take marriage very seriously, and I don't want to rush in because I value marriage. And they're like, really? You value it? And he's like, yes. 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 Like that, right? And that's why if you ask Puff Daddy, like they said to Puff Daddy, like Puff, why are you married, Puff? And like, let's see, 2 answers Puff Daddy can give. 1, because I'm Puff Daddy, and every fucking chick that ever liked Biggie Smalls, I've had sex with. I've even had sex with your fucking wife. Okay, he could say that. He's like, my house is a sexual carnival of abundance, with women being shuttled in between every appointment, just sitting there. There's women up against the wall like this that I just rotate through an obstacle course, and that's why I'm not married. Okay, well, if he says that, people are like, what the fuck is this? Get him! Get him! He can't be that happy. Fuck you! Right? They're not gonna say that. So Puff's gonna say, I'm in it to win it. He's like, I'm in it. I saw this shit, dude. He's like, I take marriage very seriously. I'm in it to win it, baby. He's like, I don't rush into that shit. It's important. And they're like, oh. You know what I'm saying, right? He's not gonna tell the truth. He can't tell the truth. That'd be like if Barack Obama. You know, if you're like Barack, like, you know, what's the reason that what's the reason why, like, you know, the country's having a hard time right now? He's not gonna be like, dude, because you're fucking lazy. All you fuckers are lazy and you're entitled, you know? And I don't have, like, dude, I'm a public servant. I'm like a higher level version of the school principal, you know? Like the school principal, he's a public servant. I'm a harder working version of that. I'm a career public servant. I do the damn best I fucking can. I'm working my ass off for you fuckers, but half the shit that I do to help you, you whine and bitch about, and I don't have that much control. If you want America to be successful, you gotta work. Invent some shit, bitches. Invent some shit. Like that's the real answer. Like, what's gonna help more? Like the public servant guy mixes around a couple fucking. I mean, of course, if you know they do have the power to tank the country. But given that most presidents are going to do a relatively center-based thing, so that no one freaks out too much most of the time, they can only do so much. But he's not gonna say invent it. Like, you want the economy fixed? Invent some shit, bitches. Read. Turn the TV off and fucking read. Invent some shit. He can't say that. Because he'd be like, what do you mean invent some shit? You're the president. You're the fucking president. Right? I know. And I'm trying my fucking best. But could you please invent some shit? You know, right? You know, right? He can't say that because people's fucking brain melt. So it's like, I mean, that, you know, so it's like, like, and to me, like, people like the president is just an evil man controlled by the Illuminati. Dude, the president is like my school principal. That's like saying my school principal is in the fucking Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? My school principal is not in the Illuminati. He's a little public servant going, hi, right? Like, you're the president, okay. You know, that to me is what it is. So, I mean, that's my opinion. But anyway, like, I know, like, you know, I've been getting pretty successful in life, and I haven't been contacted by the Illuminati yet. Like, you know, like, welcome, you made it, good for you. You know, maybe that shit will happen, right? Like, later you guys like remind me like that. I was like, how about that old speech of the Illuminati? I'm like, we don't talk about that anymore. Let me ask you guys a couple questions, okay? It's a pop quiz. Okay, pop quiz. Who saved South Africa from apartheid? Nelson Mandela did it. Good job. Okay. Who freed India from who? You don't even know who he freed them from, probably. Good job. Okay. So this is the West Coast. They'd be like, huh? Before they legalize weed, I do that, but I don't know the answer to that anymore. Okay, Gandhi freed Britain. I mean, these are pretty powerful guys, you know? Who saved Britain from Germany in World War II? Winston Churchill saved them. That's pretty good for a fat guy. You know what I'm saying, right? Winston Churchill. He's a, you know. Who freed America from the British back in the day? Who made us free?
George Washington.
Oh my God, George Washington. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, now you guys probably wonder, like, is he going to shit talk these people? These people are awesome. That's going to be, how would I react to this? No, I'm not going to shit on them. These people are role models of mine too. These are what's called leaders, but they're also called icons. So what does that mean? It's an icon. Nelson Mandela, to me, is a hero. Okay, I've read his book. I traveled to South Africa just to get to meet Ahmed Kathrada. I met F.W. de Klerk. But let me ask you this. Who here knows who F.W. de Klerk is? Not a single person in this fucking room knows who was the white president who worked with Nelson Mandela to end apartheid, but nobody knows who that guy is. Who's the other guy that helped to liberate India from the British? Who's the other guy? Okay? Who knows? I don't even know. I don't know who the other guy is because I haven't read that book yet. Get back to me. So, okay, you guys have no fucking idea. And the reason why is because you can't, your brain isn't built to remember that many people. So as far as you're concerned, Nelson Mandela just fucking came in and just said, bitches, enough is enough. Bang, 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 bang. Freedom, fuck it, you know, and that's the gist of it. In reality, when an event like that happens, it comes from a series of different happenings. There's many different people involved in the movement. There's many different people who make a massively significant contribution to that movement. There's all sorts of different, you know, can you grab that? Yeah, thank you. That's one of those moments, you know, it's one of those moments. So yeah, there's all sorts of different people that make a contribution or impact to that movement. There's different events that happen, all sorts of different shit like that, right? Just tons of it. If George Washington did not personally free America, there's also all these other people you'll never hear about who charged the fucking field and made a difference. The problem with 150-person icon level conditioning is that you don't think you can make a change, or you don't think that you can make a difference, because you think if you want to have an impact, you have to be one of those guys. So what I did, I mentioned earlier, I studied success. I read books about success, studied success, because I didn't want to see, I didn't want to just see all these counter examples of failure. I didn't want to see that anymore. Well, the other thing that I deliberately did was I put myself around a lot of celebrities or icons, and I made a very specific, concerted effort to go and meet these people in real life. So you guys might be wondering, why the fuck would Owen go to South Africa to meet the president? Why would I go do that? I do that because here's what I want to see. I want to see F.W. de Klerk eating his dinner and burping. Okay, I want to see him burp. I want to see him sneeze. I want to see him have to take a piss. I want to be taking a piss and look over and see F.W. taking a fucking piss, okay, and liking it. I want to like, okay. I want to see it, okay. I want to see him get asked a question where he doesn't quite know the answer. I want to see him going about his life. And why is that? Is it because I want to tear him down? See, no. A lot of people, what they do with Us Magazine is they want to tear down the celeb, right? They're like, look at Kanye. He's having a fit. He's going crazy again. It's crazy Kanye. There he goes again, right? Ha 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 ha. I'm better than him. I can make better music than him. Well, I can't, but I can feel good looking down on him. Fucking Kanye. Yay me, I'm winning. Kanye's losing. Fuck yeah, right? And that's like literally the level of that conscience. Pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. I'm not trying to do that. Rather, what I'm looking to do is just see regular people who focus, who made an effort, who made that 0.0001% improvement every fucking day. I want to see those people who, I want to see people that get like, who made a lot of lists and checked off the list and made little goals and checked them off and tried small goals and then built the confidence to get a bigger goal and then built the confidence and made a bigger goal and just kept building on it. I want to see them do that. They had a team. The team had fights inside the team. Maybe they lost some good people in the team, learned the lessons from the people they fought with, made a better team, had heartache, had problems, and succeeded in spite of it. That's what I want to see. I want to see people who I thought were icons just looking like regular folks. But the thing is, here's what's the thing. They're not just regular folks because you are cut from the same cloth, but you might behave differently, right? Every one of you guys here can do anything that any of the instructors that you guys saw up here doing as far as pickup. But if you're not doing the types of habits that I talked about earlier as far as going out, improving yourself, building a better lifestyle, hitting the gym, hitting the club, reading the books, having fun, laughing, making a point of having a better sense of humor, making a point of learning about life, making a point about learning about women, being around women, building female social circle, having sex with women, having a harem, getting a girlfriend, all that kind of stuff. If you're not doing that, you're not being proactive, and you're just sitting there, what do you think is going to happen? You might be cut from the same cloth, but you ain't being woven into something different. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's cut from the same cloth, but you can weave yourself into this or you can weave yourself into that. You can weave yourself in this beautiful tapestry or you can pull yourself apart in this piece of shit dirty rag on the ground that people piss on. And it's really up to you. That really is up to you. So you want to diffuse that level of consciousness. Like you guys are here meeting me right now. Oh, he's a regular guy. Like look at me today, right? I'm in my flow of my speaking right now. Was that my flow speaking from the very start of today? No, I was kind of like, hey, what's up? I'm Owen, thank you for coming, this is cool, like shit like that, right? So it takes me time. It's called being fucking human. When I take someone out on a boot camp, or when I teach a hot seat, I don't just show my successes, I show my failures. I show what failure looks like. I want people to see what failure looks like. I want people to realize it's not just some fucking icon who just gets it, like the pickup guy, and he's just this pickup guy, and he just walks up and goes like, yo, I'm the pickup guy, and goes like, because it's the pickup guy came, and it doesn't work like that. I still have to go out and get talking. I have to go out and become an extrovert. I fuck up. I still have to learn from my mistakes. That's how it works. The problem is with that icon level thinking as well, 150 person icon level thinking, you see it in businesses where a business will become successful, and they become the icon in their field, and they think that's how it always is. BlackBerry was the fucking shit as far as smartphones back in the day. And they thought, we're BlackBerry. We're the phone icon. It's a BlackBerry. The fucking president has a BlackBerry. He has his own fucking BlackBerry. Slowly but surely, BlackBerry falls behind. They fall behind. They're not aggressive. They lose their drive. They lose their focus. They want to protect that image rather than take risks, which is massive. That's huge, by the way. They want to literally protect that image by blocking out the fucking hordes at the gate. The hordes at the gate are coming. Block it out. The party's going in here. Ignore the iceberg. The party on the Titanic's a shit. Ignore the fucking iceberg. Look at the nice fucking tiles. Don't flip it up and see the slugs under the tiles. Just look at the tiles. Don't look at the slugs. Look at the tiles. Okay, that's what they're doing. They don't want to see they don't want to see reality changing. The party continues. They just want to keep that going. They ignore it and they get fucked. Okay, they get fucked. So that's the other problem with icon thinking. You think you're on top? No, you're not on top. That's not a given. That's something that has to be sustained. You have to sustain that for whatever duration that you wish to be on top. But that's the main thing again. So like I said, as far as setting success, look at people who were, at a certain level, look at people who were successful, read their books, read their autobiographies, read the criticisms of them as well, learn everything that you can about them, copy them, meet them, be driven, keep pushing yourself and so on and so forth, very, very good. Realize that there's nobody who's doing anything that you can't do and other people want to help. Successful people want to help stars. But what is a star? It's not what you're thinking it is. It's not somebody with talent, and it's definitely not somebody with fucking connections, as all these girls in Hollywood think while they're snorting coke off the dicks of producers. Okay, like, isn't this how you get it? Isn't this how Julia Roberts got put in the movie industry? You just get down like this, you get the producer's cock, you snort the coke off it, you suck it, he shoots you in the face, and now you're a star! Now I'm a star, now I'm a star! I don't have to go to acting class, I don't have to struggle, I just snort the coke! Get it in my face. You know what I'm saying, right? As this like mist of coke and cummer on her face as the producer's like, okay? So, but they're like, it's all about connections in this industry, man. You just got to know the right, bitch, you don't need to know the right people. You need to work. Shut up, put down the cock, put down the coke, and get your ass to fucking class. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to see that there because it feels better. Who wants to sit in a fucking class where they're like, now you have to cry, you have to make yourself cry to show emotion, do that, and you're like, I can't do it. Well, then you fucking suck, go home and work. Who wants that? No, you'd rather be at the fucking party with the producer. Like this, snorting coke and sucking a cock. You guys get that, don't you? Okay, fine. So, but that's what happens to the women in Hollywood. And it's so crazy because they're networking, and they're networking and networking and networking, and they think they're rising to the top. They think because they took a Molly and danced with fucking, like, some actor, like they danced with Corey Feldman or some shit, and they think their movie career is taking off because they're being cheered on. Everyone's like, yay for you! Yay for you! You know, and they're just like, yay for me! And then nothing happens. And then they just get washed up and chewed up and spit out, and that's what Hollywood does. It's pretty cool. So, you know, with me, you know, I've done a lot of networking when I was learning, but once I got the networking done I need to get done, I didn't keep doing that shit. I just worked. You know, it's like I could network with the highest level people in the world, but are they gonna show up and do my fucking free tour? Are they gonna do my video? Are they gonna learn the next pickup concept that I'm gonna teach? Are they gonna teach me how to public speak? Are they gonna do my accounting for me? They're gonna do nothing. They're just gonna be my friend. That's it. Networking can help you to meet other people and see that other people are like you. They can share stories, they can share value, but they can't do it for you, and it's not who you know. It's about how hard you work, particularly the age of the internet. So that's like a really big thing. But here's the flip side. So you've noticed that I've also said I study success, but I also study failure. I study failure very, very carefully. I want to learn from failure. So when I was learning in the pickup industry, I had great role models, but I also had great failure models. This is one of the biggest things that helped me. Great failure models. I love failure models. So many of the first pickup teachers, they were great success models to me because they showed me how to pick up girls, they showed me how to be speakers, they showed me how to have charisma, how to create a movement. But a lot of them thought that because they were the first ever teachers, they should just be respected forever. It was like, I'm the first guy. I'm the first fucking guy, right? You shouldn't listen to these guys, you should listen to me because I'm the first. Nobody cares who's the first. They care who can teach them to get what they want. They might give a little clap to the first, like, yay, like that, but they don't care. It's like, who would you rather watch? Would you rather watch, like, the first basketball player from, like, the 40s who's, like, doing this shit? Like that? Or do you want to see fucking LeBron, like, fucking freight train through, like, 9 guys and fucking blast it? You don't care who the first, like, but I'm the first guy. Turn off that and watch me. Like that, nobody fucking cares. People want to see Kobe. People want to see Kevin Durant. They want to see LeBron. They want to see, I don't know who you guys got out here in Philly, but whoever the fuck it is. Is it Andrew Bynum? No, he's gone. So, yeah, it's like, but you know what I'm saying, right? So it's like, that's what I basically realized. So I saw failure models. And basically, here's what I basically learned, okay? Here's the basic principle of what I learned from studying success and failure. So I study failure very, very closely. Very, very, very closely. And every friend that I have, I could tell you all their successes and all their failings. What I learned from failure is that basically you have these universal rules of life that have been handed down for like thousands of years, okay? They go back to like old texts and shit like that. Some old texts are completely ridiculous. Just because a text is old doesn't mean it's good. But you start to see people beginning to realize these principles in old texts. You go far back to like the Tao Te Ching, but just like there's so many of these principles, okay? And what you pretty much have to do, here's what you do. You want to look at those principles, you want to learn them really, really closely, like you want to really be really fluent in these principles and study them. And then what you have to do is you have to surrender to them. So what do I mean by surrender to them? One example would be like myself. So guys are like, well, so why do you always go out and pick up girls, man? Isn't it shallow and empty? And shit like that. Look, like here's my rationale. I teach pickup, okay? Well, you know, isn't there anything more to you than that? Yeah, there is. But I also teach pickup, okay? Like when I leave this room, I'm gonna go do a boot camp. And I'm not teaching a guy like how to bake a cake. I'm gonna teach him how to fuck a hot girl, okay? I might even pull with him. I do it all the time, actually. I pull with my students and shit. It's pretty fucking crazy. I've even taught students how to fucking finger girls and make them squirt right on boot camp. So, you know, so yeah. So it's like, you know, so yeah, I mean, you know, I go hard. You know, I go motherfucking hard. I teach fucking pickup. It's called play your role. They talk about that. That's a principle from the Bhagavad Gita. He basically says, like, it doesn't matter. You have all these other thoughts in your head, but the bottom line is, this is the role that you're playing. This like guy is about to go into a war, and Krishna says to him, this is the role that you're playing, so fucking play it. If I'm a pickup teacher, right now, if that's what I'm doing, I'm gonna fucking bust my ass and be the best pickup teacher I'm capable of being. So that means that if a day goes by, I'm gonna try to go out, so that my game is good, so that I teach it well. Now, at the time that I stopped teaching pickup, I can choose not to go out. But as long as I'm doing it, I'm gonna get off my fucking ass, and and I can go out and keep working on my pickup, and that's why I'm going to do it. And it's as simple as that. It doesn't need to be a lot more complicated than that. But there's a lot of other things that you'll learn. Some of them that you might have heard of are like abundance versus scarcity, right? Now, let's look at that one as an example. So have you guys ever noticed that I have new material all the time? Do you guys ever do you ever look at like the fact that I always have new material and like have like this thought that might occur to you, like, where the fuck does this come from? Like, how the fuck can any one man talk this much? Where the fuck does this come from? Because that's what I think about shit when I look at myself. Sometimes I look at videos of myself and I'm like, that dude talks a lot. How the fuck does that guy talk that much? Because that's not even me. That's like some guy that looks like me on a screen that's talking a lot. And like, I don't even know how I'm doing this right now. Like, even as right now, I'm like, this is all you. And I don't even know how the fuck I'm doing it. I don't know where the jokes are coming from, where the fucking shit's coming from. Like, I mean, I kind of know, but it's a little weird to me too. It's more weird to me than it is to you. So, well, how did I learn how to do this? Basically what I realized, it's a universal principle, abundance versus scarcity. I believe in abundance. So when I come in here and I talk about principles that are on my mind, or I do a video and I talk about principles on my mind, I believe that when I share it out, I put it into the universe, as they would say, I put it out, that what I'm doing is I'm clearing the fucking board, and then new ideas will come into my head. What happens every time that I put out a new idea is a better idea comes. But I have to believe in that, because every time that I go to do it, when I'm walking over here, it's the weirdest shit you've ever seen. So I'm walking over here, okay? I ate at Fuel next door, awesome place to eat. I'm walking over here and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna talk about tonight. I'm like, I always feel this way before every free tour. What the fuck am I gonna talk about? What the fuck is gonna come in my head? And I'm like, trust, as Julian would say to a girl he's trying to have sex with. Trust. And I just trust. And then I come in, I just start talking a bit, and just see what comes out. And the reason why I'm able to do this is because I believe in abundance. So I believe in abundance of ideas. So I just start talking, and then the other idea will come. So when you see me cranking out video after video, I'm doing that because I believe that the better the video I put out, the next one's gonna be even better. And then the next one's gonna be even better. And the next one's gonna be even better. And if I do it for like 30 years, the shit I could do could be amazing. That is what is in my head when I'm doing that. Well, where did I learn that? That's called the principle of abundance. If you believe in, if you put it out, you're giving abundance, and then what happens is that you gain abundance. And this is the problem with, like, say, bad tippers, as an example, right? Where I'll hear like someone's a bad tipper, and I'll be like, and I'm not saying you gotta like be an over tipper, but just an appropriate tipper, you know? And I'll hear about guys like bad tippers, and I think, too bad for them, because what they're doing is they're putting it in there, and you know, everybody's poor at a certain point and can't give a bad tip, I get that. But what a lot of people are doing is they're putting in their head, the world's a scarce place, the world's a scary place, the world's a bad place, and they're not getting new ideas, they're not seeing new things. So that's an example of a principle. Another one is like, and this is a very simple one, is that you have to surrender to hard work. I think that people will do anything to avoid hard work. They are always looking for ways to avoid fucking working. Here's what's so crazy about that. Let me talk a little bit about why that is so terrible. People, for example, want to learn the magic pill for pickup. They don't want to go out. They don't want to have to go out regularly and approach people to learn pickup. They want to find some easier way. It never works. I've never seen somebody figure out this way unless they're going to fuck a bunch of like ugly girls on Craigslist. But I've never actually, which works, but I've never actually seen guys get successful without putting work in it. It's what you put into, and that's another universal principle. What you put into it is what you get back out of it. Okay, so these are like universal principles. So it's like, I see guys trying to avoid work all the time. Now, it doesn't mean to be some guy who does shitty work and just burns yourself into the ground out of some like weird sense of pride. But you have to be ready to work. But see, here's what's so crazy about this. Work when you like to work isn't work. It's just like diet food. When you're eating, this is why people get freaked out with eating healthy. You're eating unhealthy food, right? You go eat like a salad, like a bunch of vegetables, right? And your buddy's like, hey, I love eating vegetables. You could do it too. And then you're like, you eat that one thing of salad and you're like, this is disgusting. This tastes like shit. I can't fucking eat this. And then they're like, no, if you want to adopt the lifestyle, you can eat this every day forever. And you're like, no. I'm like, I like to eat this bullshit I like to eat, and that's what makes me happy. If I have to die younger but be happy, I'd rather do that because this food makes me unhappy. That's what people think about work as well. Here's what they don't realize. If you just eat healthy for 2-3 months, you like the taste of healthy food better. If you just work for 2 or 3 months, the first 2 or 3 months are tough. Then after that, you like it. It feels good to work. When you guys see me up here, do I look like I feel bad? I feel fucking awesome. And that's the basic gist of it. It's like, and I had to fly in here from the fucking West Coast. I'm on 3 hours sleep right now. And I love it, okay? And same thing with game, right? Like at first, like, well, I don't want to have to go out and approach girls and talk to all these girls to meet girls. Like, I wouldn't want to have to go through all that. I just want the simple. I was like, dude, when you start going out regularly, you make it a habit, you're looking forward to going out. That end of the day comes, you're fucking twitching to get out. You're literally twitching to get out there. So what I learned from failure was that people generally want to avoid work. They don't want to surrender to universal principles of life. They think they're above it. They think that they can look at universal principles of how the world fucking works and that God has some better plan for them or they're more special, and they're not, okay? You are not more special. There's not some big master plan where it's all evolving for you to be lazy. Okay? Like it's all coming together so I can be lazy and it's all working out. No, it's not. That's a coincidence. Or that might have happened because some other person did a bunch of work to facilitate a situation like that. And that person, when they facilitated that situation, what they were hoping was that you'd work too. They weren't hoping that you'd just sit there fucking lazy and think that the universe will provide. Okay? And this is what I see, like a lot of people, they fuck themselves over thinking the universe is going to provide, and no, the universe is not going to provide. Here's my view of the universe. People ask me like, do you believe in God? What do you think of the universe? Here's basically what I think. Universe is pretty harsh. I can assure you of that. I watched a snake eat a frog the other day when I was out swimming in this like little thing in Texas. A snake eating a frog. And it was harsh, man. I mean, seriously, the snake just comes, the frog's just frogging along. And the snake just jumps out. This is like a garter snake. Like the thing is like it's like this fucking thick and the frog is like maybe that thick, okay? The snake just jumps out, grabs it, and it gets it. And the frog almost gets away. Like it almost gets away, but almost is not good enough. So it almost gets away, and then the snake, you just see the snake like widen its throat, and then it just kind of eats it. And the frog, because it's not really like anatomically built to really fight back, it just kind of just gets sucked into the snake. And I'm looking at the frog. I was this close to it. I videotaped. I'm going to put it in a vlog. It's morbid. Okay? And like you see the frog, and it's just like, bye. And then the snake just eats it, and it leaves. And you're like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. You know? And that's like the least bad shit that happens. I mean, I've been in South Africa. I've been on safari. I've watched like groups of lions eating those antelope thing, or I forget, impala or some shit. Oh yeah, dude, I've seen this shit. Yeah. And like, no, it's pretty gruesome, dude. Like, you were in South Africa. Okay,
I didn't
bang.
see the.
Okay, well, let me fill you in. Here's what you missed. So basically, what happens is like you start to smell death as you come near. Okay, you can smell it from like pretty far away. And like, you know how you think like it's all cool, like, you know, the lions are eating. It's like a family dinner, like some shit like that. No, it smells like death and gruesome death. It smells like death and gruesome death. So basically, you see that you hear these lions, they're covered in red shit. Looks like you fucked a girl on her period. And I know, because I just did this a couple hours before I got here. So I took a shower, don't worry. So, okay. But basically, yeah, it pretty much looks like how my dick looked after I fucked a girl on her period, but it's your face. So the things eating these things, they're eating this fucking like impala, and you're hearing, I love your face, the look on your face, you're like, I just want to learn how to meet a new girlfriend. Why are you doing this? Okay? So it's eating, this is like the weird shit I'll talk to a girl about when I'm pulling her home. So it's eating the impala, and like, you know how like when you break like a little chicken bone, it kind of goes pop? Imagine if that bone is this thick. It sends mini shockwaves to you, okay? So I'm in the fucking Jeep, and it's like that, and it's like that, like everything. You're like, right? And it's like eating this fucking thing. So the world is fucking harsh, okay? Do not doubt that, okay? Do you know how much death there is in the world? Do you know how many people die of senseless shit all the time? Like number one killer is like malaria. Guess what? You got a mosquito bite. Now you're dead from fucking malaria. And it's not gonna be like a nice death. Like it's gonna be painful and it's gonna suck. Okay, and this happens to people all the time. The world's very harsh, man. It's random. Bad shit happens to people who don't deserve it. There's no little plan for you. Nobody gives a shit, okay? Your mom barely gives a shit about you. Only person that cares about you is Tyler. Just kidding. So it's like, no, but seriously, like, I mean, you got to assume that, right? You're owed nothing. You're owed absolutely nothing. So basically, it's like, pretty much the way I see it is like, there's universal principles. And like, your job as a person is to look at what those universal principles are and surrender to them as to the best you can. And basically, as you get older, you understand the universal principles more and more. You keep looking at them and you keep surrendering to them more and more. So like, one example of a universal principle is like, become present to the moment. That doesn't mean you could never think or you're walking around with a robe on or a red dot on your head, but it generally means become present to the moment. Stop being so stuck in your head that you're thinking about your self-image and thinking about all this stupid shit. Just become present, right? Stop doing it for what you get, do it for what you give, like, you know, things like that. And when you actually surrender to these principles, all of a sudden, what does your life look like? Well, it looks fucking amazing. Now, all the people, as I said in the Game of Thrones, the lowborns, right? They're looking up at this as someone who did that, and they don't know what that is. They don't know what a universal principle is, because again, 150% icon consciousness, lower consciousness, Successful people are evil consciousness. I talked about tribal leadership, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, they might be in like, the world is a bad place, and world's bad for me, world's bad for everybody, or the world's bad for me, and there's those lucky people that have it, but it's bad for me. Like, you know, they're like in those low-level rungs. They see what you're doing, and they can't understand it. They don't understand that you spent your whole life working, studying, reading, hustling, making that 0.1% progress a day. It's too hard to understand because, and they don't understand passion because it's like, well, because they've never surrendered to those principles. And by never surrendering, or I'm not saying never, and I'm making wild generalizations here, but just commonly, they've never surrendered to those principles, and they've never felt the bliss of that feeling of surrendering to those principles, of literally just saying, fuck this shit, I'm going with the principles. Like spending your life reading about them, learning about them, studying them, seeing why they work, seeing what they bring to your life, seeing what they bring to the world, and so on and so forth. And you'll see certain things like this, like even in like bizarre subcultures, like say Mormonism, right? Where, what do you guys think of when you think of a Mormon? Like polygamy, that's like the first thing, right? Or like, what else do you think? Like Mitt Romney, or you think of like weird like cult, right? But actually, if you actually go look at it, or you think of Utah, but if you actually go look at it, and you know, I'm not a Mormon, but if you actually go look at what they're doing, they're teaching people shit like everybody should have a year of food stashed up. Everybody should have savings. You know, like they're getting people that probably would never do this, and they're getting people to go and do that, right? They're trying to stop chaos, people's lives becoming fucking chaos and their life being shit, and trying to get people to do stuff. But the problem is, if they just told them like, you should do this because it's good, they won't listen. But if they're like, Granddaddy God says to do it, and you're going to the big party in the sky if you do it, people are like, really? Listen to the story about where you'll go if you do it, right? But really, to me, those stories in my mind are stories about what you'll experience while you're alive. Heaven to me is where, if you surrender to those principles, that's your life while you're alive. Nobody knows what happens after you're dead. Nobody. You know, there's a bunch of people that think they like, I know. No, they don't. No human ever has known what's going to happen after you die. Nobody, okay? Nobody can say that. But what I can say, which you can study, is that there are these universal principles, and some of them, when you truly study them, are beautiful. Like, they're like fucking magic, honestly. Like, when you really study this stuff, it is like fucking magic. And maybe you don't need some guy up in the sky who's looking out for you, buddy, and all that kind of shit to make your life happy, because you can learn about them, and when you understand it and you spent your life dedicated to that, studying both success and failure and trying to hone in on them, your life can be fucking amazing. And the things that you can experience emotionally, as far as your self-concept, as far as the range of experiences that you can open yourself up to. And when I say range of experience, I don't just mean material experiences, like, okay, you had a threesome, which is cool, or you had success financially, which is cool, but the actual experiences that you can open yourself up to emotionally or experientially, or a better knowledge of self, or understanding who you are, understanding where you fit into the world, or why you're here, or things like that, is beyond anything that somebody in a lower level mentality can even understand. They don't even know that could exist, or why it would exist, or what the point would be. It's like two different realities. Like, we're both here, but there's two different people understanding it. And to me, that is what success is about. That, to me, is a successful life.